Today on What It's Like, this one's a rare one, 1959 Alfa Romeo Giulietta Sprint. This car belongs to a friend of mine, so special thanks if you're watching this. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay, welcome to What It's Like. This channel, we feature the classics, vintage, some exotics, lots of orphan cars, and cars that are off the beaten path. If that sounds of interest to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. If you'd like to get in touch with me, two ways are the best ways. Leave a comment in the comment section. I read and answer all comments posted. The second way, we made a Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. No obligation to join, just simply saying that it's a thing. If you'd like to share your rides, experiences, stories, feel free to share that on the Facebook group as well as in the comment section. I love reading people's stories about cars. If interested, link is in the description. If you dig this channel and like this episode, please give us a like so more people can see this episode in the future. All right, let's talk Alfa Romeo. Before getting into the Giulietta, we're going to set up some background information on the company. Founded on June 24th, 1910 in Milan, Italy, the early days of Alfa, they built race cars and limited run vehicles for vastly wealthy people. Fast forward to 1955, Alfa saw the light, and to survive as a car company, they needed to mass produce cars. 1955, Giulietta was introduced. This was the car that took Alfa down that mass production path. The Giulietta was the first car to be mass produced by Alfa Romeo. The Giulietta was offered as a coupe, Spider Berlinetta. Let's talk specs. 157 inches long, 60.6 inches wide, 46.5 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 93.5 inches. This is a light car. 1,850 pounds is what it weighs. That's half as much, almost half as much as the Mercedes-Benz 450 SL that we did a couple episodes ago, which claimed to be a sport-like car. It's not. Anyway, price, $3,960, which was equivalent to you spending $40,317.97 in the year 2022. Total 1959 Alfa Productions was 32,089 units. Moving on to engine specs, but before getting into all the specs, I want to break this engine down for you because it's a very interesting marvel of engineering, especially when you consider this was 1959. The original Giulietta came out in 1955, and I'm pretty sure it used the same engine, but this engine is incredible on paper. Inline four-cylinder, dual overhead cam. It used an aluminum alloy block with cast iron sleeves and hemispherical combustion chambers. The twin overhead cams are driven by two timing chains and acted on 2 valves per cylinder. Just a reminder, this is 1959. Moving on to engine specs, 1290cc dual overhead cam inline 4, 1.3 liters. It makes 80 brake horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 85 foot-pounds of torque at 4,250 RPM, with a bore of 2.9 inches and a stroke of 2.9 inches. Compression is 8.5 to 1. This car could go 0 to 60 in 13.3 seconds. Only one transmission on offer, 4-speed manual. On to the button switches and knobs, starting with the 3 switches at the bottom of the dashboard. The first one is for interior lights, the middle one is for the dash lights, and the one on the right-hand side is for the windshield wipers. Moving up here, there is a switch on the left-hand side. I'm not entirely sure what that does. It wasn't in the owner's manual. And then off to the side of the switch that I'm not sure about is the ignition switch. Sitting in front of the driver are 3 gauge pods. We're going to start with the one on the left-hand side. It actually houses 3 gauges inside of it. But before talking about the gauges, there's a series of lights going around the perimeter of the gauge, if that makes any sense. The one at the top is for directional signal. Notice there's only one light for both turn signals. Fuel reserve, lights. Then it's oil temperature, water temperature. At the bottom is the gas gauge. Notice how it reads 0, half, 4 out of 4. That's kind of interesting. In the center, we have the tachometer and oil pressure. Notice the tach is in the center and not off to the side like it generally is. That's very interesting. Alfa Romeos being race cars and stuff, so your focus more on RPM engine speed than actual speed. Off to the right hand side is the speedometer, has odometer at the top center and tripometer in the bottom center. There's also two lights inside that. One is for heating and the other one is for dynamo. Moving to the center, there's some more buttons. We're just going to go from left to right, starting at the top left there. That one is for the headlight switch. The next one is for easy starting control, accelerator knob, air conditioning, fan control. Couple more gauges down here at the bottom. I think these were added after the fact. Got battery charger or amp gauge, clock in the center. I'm not sure what the end gauge is. It could be an oil pressure gauge. So coming up to this door panel, notice all the different colors. Got grays, there's reds. Here's the door handle. There is no armrest. Just put your arm out the window. Window crank. That is the slowest window crank I've ever used. It took like 10 cranks. A door handle to get out. So just check this out. So you have, this is how the rear windows open. Just like that. Here's what the over the hood impression looks like. Here's what the under the steering wheel impression looks like. There isn't a whole lot of room, but it's adequate. My head is in the ceiling. If I cut my hair, it'd probably fit in here a little bit better. Notice the mirror is on the dashboard. Here is the ashtray, and it's kind of unique in the sense it's really elegant. You have to push that down and then pull this out. That's how that operates. Notice the pedal box down here. Everything is moved to the right. And notice the pedals are really small. Sun visors. There is a mirror on that one. Also an oh crap handle up here, as well as a light. Oh, nice batteries in the trunk and a spare tire and all kinds of other crazy stuff. Yeah, there's a jack. What's this doohickey? Is that the fuel cell or fuel pump? Yeah. Cool. Gas goes in here. On to the pros and cons. I'm getting all of these pros and cons from the complete book of collectible cars, Blue Chip Auto Investments, 70 years from 1930 to 2000 by Richard M. Langworth and the auto editors of Consumer Guide. On the positives, matchless styling, except for sedans, because the sedans are kind of hideous. Sturdy engine, great gearbox, fine handling, lots of model variations. No real problems with mechanical parts or rebuilds. Against it, oh, and I came up with a couple pros of my own. Sounds amazing, twin cam 4-cylinder, lightweight car, rare, gorgeous gauges, and interior. Against it, rust-prone Italian bodies, little factory service or part support, overly complex mechanicals for the performance. And I also came up with a couple more cons. There is not a lot of headspace if you're tall. Super rust prone. Okay, on to name that tune. First person to give me the correct name of the band as well as song title will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. That song has such a groove to it. Anyway, thank you all so much for all the support. I appreciate everything. And until next time, toodaloo!